Hey, just got out of the shower, so I'm gonna talk to my camera for a little bit. Feel free to minimize me because I'll have some B-roll, but that's about it. Anyway, while I was in the shower, I was kind of thinking about some videos to make, and I think this would be a good one because I've wanted to make it for a long time, and it's really exciting for me. And simply put, I just want to talk about the stupidest arguments that people have made against me as a vegan. And I say stupid kind of lightheartedly, maybe that's a little harsh, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think these arguments follow any train of logical sense. And ultimately, that's why I became vegan. All of the arguments against veganism I thought didn't sound very good, and the arguments for veganism did. So that's why I'm here. For reference, I've been vegan over 4 years, including the clothes I buy, and I don't go to zoos, which is really sad because I like animals, so. Okay, the first one's gonna be obvious to anybody ever, and that's when people ask, well, you're vegan, well, where do you get your protein? It's not stupid because these people don't know that plants have protein, and cows get protein from plants, and so do elephants and giraffes, and 70% of the animal kingdom, I believe, is plant-based, which all other animals need protein as well. But these individuals haven't asked themselves, if you need to eat animals to get protein, then why don't all vegans and vegetarians get hospitalized for a protein deficiency? It doesn't happen. Unless if you eat white rice every day, only white rice, you're probably, okay, all right, that's a little extreme. But you get the point. Protein deficiency is actually very rare, and just look at these two fellas right here. They're both vegan, and they get more protein than you do. I guarantee it. The second argument that I love is just, well, we've been eating meat for a long time. That doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. As we just kind of said, you don't need to eat meat to survive, therefore why would you? And this trend for protein kind of follows the belief that maybe we need it for nutrition, but just look at this. This was published by this group, and it unequivocally states that a vegan plant-based diet is healthy, period, for anybody at any age, including nursing moms, which is really cool. Fun facts, right? Unless if you intentionally want to be cruel to animals, or you value taste, like sensory pleasure, over the life of an animal, then there's no real reason to eat meat with that argument. We had slaves in America for 300 years, and saying, we've had slaves for so long, that doesn't justify having slaves. Our morality as a human species evolves and changes, and we're trying to elevate consciousness, and not keep ourselves to the standards of the past. If we did, I don't know, what, crusades would still be going on? Past morality does not justify present morality, or lifestyle, for that matter. Same argument, well, we came from cave people. We're not cave people. We're not. All right, moving on. The third argument I think is interesting because people are like, well, what if you're starving? Vegans don't eat animals because we don't need to eat animals. If you're in a life situation where food is scarce, then that becomes survival of the fittest, and kind of, you know what I mean? And we would become obligate carnivores to survive, just like a lion. But I can go to Kroger and I don't need to buy meat to survive. We don't live in that post-apocalyptic world, at least in places like America, all of the countries that I visited in the world, actually, so just America, Canada, Iceland, India, Spain, France, UK, China, Macau, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Thailand, Taiwan, and Japan, and New Zealand and Australia, if I didn't say them already. You don't need to eat meat in any of those countries. And I'm sure you could imagine probably every European country, every Asian country is going to be fine finding food. I can't really speak for other places, but I'm just going to assume so. I kind of lost my train of thought because I'm just kind of winging it. But that kind of fourth part, whatever. This one's hard for me even to say. But I just love chicken. I said it before, but sensory pleasure does not justify moral action. Thank you for that wonderful quote. What if I told you that I love kicking dogs? I think it's so funny. Just to like see a dog walking down the street, just boom, kick him right in the rib cage. I love to hear him squeal and yelp. It just feels so good to me. No, you'd probably arrest me. One, because the laws protecting cats and dogs are different than the laws protecting chickens, cows, and pigs, generally speaking. And also, you would think that I was a freak for getting pleasure out of harming an animal. Yet here we are. That argument is so popular, and it makes me cringe at how sad, depressing, and morbid it actually is. Now, some of you might be thinking about the next point, which is, well, Anthony, maybe those animals are bred for that purpose. Just because what if I breed roosters to fight each other, like cockfighting? That doesn't make it ethical, even though they were bred for that purpose. What if I breed dogs to be kicked? Right? Same argument. This is so hard. There's so many, just in my mind, just bad arguments. And then on that same train of thought, well, you know, we think of cats and dogs as family, and not cows and chickens and pigs. But that's cultural relativism. Cows are actually very loving and gentle creatures. There's videos of cows playing fetch. There's people that hold chickens and pet them. Just because you have an emotional tie to one and not the other, I mean, that doesn't justify cruelty. The other one, like, cows produce too much milk, and we take the milk from them so they're not in pain. Yeah, cows evolved to suit human dairy consumption needs. Yeah, that's not an intelligent statement. We also drag baby cows away from their mothers while they're still nursing, so we can take the milk from them. So all of the milk and cheese that you eat is because we've taken that from a baby calf that actually needed that nutrients. So if you want to talk about natural living, why do we get to live naturally and we get to take natural living away from another animal? Pretty elitist, feels like. In that same line, the only reason we believe cows and chickens and pigs and cats and dogs and snakes and birds are different than each other is it's arbitrary, right? People in Japan enjoy hunting whale, and we think that's appalling, and they're like, well, it's cultural. We've done it for thousands of years, and it's a part of our way of life. They could say the same thing about any animal that you eat during the week. It's arbitrary and relative, and we're better than that as human beings. Moving on, people like use the Bible and say like God gave us dominion or stewardship over animals. Also, those two translations, like stewardship, they're arguably almost the same thing, and you have dominion over your children objectively, but that doesn't give you reasonable cause to beat them. Oh, because I have dominion means I can do harm and cruelty. Yeah. Also, like, if God gave us animals to eat, why would he make them scream, cry, feel pain, also give us heart disease, cancer, and strokes if we ate them? Wouldn't he make them healthy? Like, just read anything, please. Oh, okay, and then maybe the last one, because I could do this all day. If the entire world went vegan, what would we do with the billions of animals that are just like left in the cages? One, no vegan is advocating the entire world go vegan at one period in time. At once. It's not feasible, right? We're talking about converting the land used for animal agriculture into land used for human agriculture. Why are you weed whacking? And with that model, unfortunately so, other people would gradually eat the animals left in the animal agriculture industry, while the breeding of those animals was also being decreased at the same time. We artificially inseminate every cow. That's rape, and that's the only reason why we have a lot of cows. Male cows are often chained and sold as veal or killed as babies, so we don't really have old male cows. Bulls, I think that's what they're, steers, whatever. I'm not a farmer. I had this debate with a student, not a debate, we were just trying to figure out the hen, rooster, and chicken. Just getting mixed up. Sometimes you just wish you could think more clearly. And that's the way I feel about most people when they talk to me about veganism. So it's nuts. And really, unfortunately, what I believe is that a lot of people don't have, honestly, I would say, like, the correct education or the correct resources. Like when I was in Japan, they had never even met a vegetarian before. It wasn't anywhere. And it wasn't a part of any sort of culture in Japan, which is interesting because they come from Buddhism, and Buddhism ideally is a vegan-based lifestyle. Again, talking about sentience. So it's really difficult. If you have any questions about veganism, or if somebody has said something pretty ridiculous to you, just comment below. I'd be interested to have a conversation with people. It's one of my favorite topics, and recently I haven't really been able to talk about it. Again, if I didn't have overwhelming evidence to support my lifestyle as a vegan, then I wouldn't have done it. So for people to assume that my decision was stupid when they haven't done the research, it's sad. Because we're talking about the lives of animals. Alright, take care. See you next time. Monday. See you Monday.